Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and guys, today I'm bringing you a new video from Akko with their Mu02. So this is a 75% of the wooden board, and I really wanted to try this because I love their Mu01, which was really great. It's a really great board. I thought it was incredibly deep sounding and it sounded amazing, and I really wanted to try the Mu02. So thank you again to Akko for sending me this out, and again guys, thank you so much for always supporting this channel, helping me build this up, and I just can't believe how far this has come. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and let's get straight into the unboxing.
So starting off with the unboxing of the Mu02, thank you again to Akko for sending me this out. Gotta admit, that design on the front of the box, really beautiful. It's an incredibly beautiful board. Now of course we're going to take a look at the accessories, see what we're getting inside the box. Now we get this nice, it looks like beeswax oil, so something just to maintain the wood. Get extra switches, a total of 5, and you also get a switch puller, a keycap puller, and your basic cable. So yeah, this does look like beeswax oil. Not 100% sure, but it is something just so you can maintain your wooden keyboard. Now of course, let's go and look inside the box for the keyboard. So we're going to take a look at this beautiful board. It is a wooden board, and I loved the Mu01. It was a really beautiful board. I really love the design and the feel of the thing. So it is actual wood, right? It is made out of walnut wood, which is a really beautiful wood. I really love how it is actually made out of wood, and like you can feel it, you can hear it. And I was surprised though that they're only using a silver finish instead of a gold like the Mu01. So that was a little bit disappointing, but gotta admit, it still looks beautiful. And of course, we're gonna weigh this board before we do the sound test. And this thing weighs 1.17 kilos. So now that we're done with the sound test, let's open this board up. You're going to have to remove the rubber foot on the back, the long one, because it's covering up the 4 screws that are keeping the whole frame inside the board. Now this is the same case for the Mu01, and you're going to need a screwdriver that does have like a hexagonal shape. Now, it isn't super easy to open, but we're going to of course check it out. And before we do fully check it out, I want to show you guys quickly the stabilizers. So it is a plate mount stabilizer, and there's so much lube in there. Like actually, surprisingly, tons and tons of lube. I didn't expect it to be that much. As you can see there, I'm trying to use this tool to open this up because this thing's really not simple. So you're going to actually have to remove the knob first. Sorry for the camera shake there. It's because it wasn't easy taking it out. But you're going to actually have to get like a tool, like a prong or something to get in there to actually remove that frame. It's actually really difficult. I was trying to get in there, like see if there was any areas I can get through, but that corner is going to be your easiest bet to get this thing open. And once you do, it comes off. It's because the bottom portion of it, so if you look at it carefully, like see how there's the bottom prongs up there, like actually clip in, like they push all the way into the bottom of the board. So you're gonna have to just angle it carefully to get this out. Now, of course, we're gonna have to see inside this board. Now, one thing I did notice is that it does have the foam that's fully taped onto the back of the PCB, so it's a bit hard to remove, but you do also get a nice foam in the middle between the PCB and the plate. And it is a FR4 plate. So this is a 4000 mAh battery. And one thing I did feel when I was doing the sound test was there was a bit of a hollow sound, which some people might enjoy that sound, right? Like it gives you this feeling that it is a wooden board because it is a hollow, like a nice hollow sound to it. Like it actually feels like there's something resonating inside the wood. Now, I'm actually going to modify this a bit just to fill in that space because I feel like it had a little bit too much of a hollowing sound. So, of course, I'm going to use my trusty car sound dampener, cut it up, fill in the space because, yeah, I just feel like there was just some hollow sounds that I wasn't a fan of and I could hear a lot, though it did make it feel like, oh yeah, I am typing on a wooden board. Like you could feel that resonation within the board. Now, we're going to put this all back together because we fill up everything. And then, of course, I want to give you guys more of like a sound test and more of insight of this board. Now, we're just going to put it back in, make sure everything fits in properly. Of course, you want to make sure the plate also is going to be in there nicely on the bottom. You want to angle it perfectly so it fits right into the cutout spots. So it's like a socket that goes right through. You're going to put all of those in, and then you're going to put the plate, just put pressure on there, push it in, put the knob back on, and then make sure that you're going to keep that rubber on the back, like the rubber feeding the foot on the back, because you want to make sure to put that in and it's not off there, or like this rubber stickiness doesn't get destroyed, because you want to make sure that's on there or it's going to be really unbalanced. Now, we're going to cut up the rest of the sound dampener just to put in the space bar, just because I don't like too much of a hollow sound from space bars. Now, you just cut it up, perfect size it, and then you're going to just put it right in. This helps for pretty much every single keyboard out there. I've done this for all of my boards. Every single board I get, this is what I do for the space bars, just because it really does help remove that hollowy sound, like the tinging from the space bar. So of course, we're going to go into a sound test of the modded board. So one thing else I want to show you guys with this board is two different aqua switches that they had sent me before. These are the new mirror switches and the Stellar Rose switches. So let's do a sound test with the stock and loop for both switches. So now, going into reviewing of the Mu 02 and my thoughts. Now, I feel like this board is a little bit different because it is a wooden board, right? Like, it's really rare to find a nice wooden board out there, and the Mu 02 is really a nice board. The thing is, though, I still wish that they didn't have the wireless switches. Like, it has Mac mode, Windows mode. So if you put all the way down, it's Windows mode, and then if you push it all the way up, it's Mac mode. I wish they didn't have that. Instead, like, as this is a bigger board, right? There was something else there, like a switch that they could have made a little cutout for with like the USB dongle as well. I think the Mu 01, it made sense because it was a smaller board, not as much space. But this is a much bigger board, and like I felt that there was a lot more space that could be maybe played with because I know, like as I said, there was a lot more hollow sound. There's more empty space inside the board. So it is something that I do wish that Aqua would have maybe tried to do. And maybe in the next version of this one, they could really do it. That would be really helpful because not everyone's carrying around a like keycap puller, though I do, but not everyone is. And it just would be easier for them to do, like turn it off to save some battery and then turn it back on when it's necessary, especially with the USB dongle and everything as well. Now, this wood is super, super nice. I just know that it can scratch pretty easily, right? It is wood. It is, as you can hear, like actual wood. So you would be able to actually have it like scratch. Now, I do want to give you guys a little bit more of my thoughts on the Stellar Rose switch and the mirror switch, and of course, the switch that this board came with, which is the Rosewood switch, which is one of my favorite switches out there right now. And give you guys a little bit more of a close-up, of course, to see, you know, the stem wobbles and my thoughts on the switches. Now, the blue is the mirror switch, red is the Stellar Rose, and the pink, more pink is the Stellar Rose, and the fully red is the Rosewood switch. Now, the Rosewood is a much deeper switch. This is a really nice, deep sounding switch. As you can see here, it has very little stem wobble. You're not getting a ton of stem wobble on this switch, which is great. You know, that's something I love about these switches. There's not too much stem wobble. It sounds so deep, and it is quieter though. It is on the quieter side. So for those that want like a Thocky switch that's kind of louder, this definitely isn't that. Now, the mirror switch is supposed to be their new clacky switch, and this thing also has very little stem wobble, and it is a higher pitched clack. Now, in the sound test, it might not have sounded super clacky, but on other boards, it will be very, very high pitched clacky. Now, the Stellar Rose is a bit of a medium in between. It's towards the clacky side, but also has some thock to it. So if you're looking for something that's in between and not super high pitched, the Stellar Rose is something that you can also look at. Now, the Rosewood, on the other hand, just be aware that if you don't lube it or hand lube it, it could have a bit of a scratchy feel to it. If you hand lube it, it really helps a lot and will reduce that. Now, I do want to give you guys, of course, the backlighting of this board and show you like how good is it or is it not great, because the Rosewood does kind of eat up the lighting a lot. So I'm going to turn off the lights and then I'll show you guys like what you can see with the backlighting. Now, you can see only the Rosewood switch that is actually fully open right now. The lighting is really, really dim. It's not as dim as this, just as my camera has a very difficult time catching that lighting. It's unfortunately just how the camera can catch it. My camera's just having a hard time with it. It's not as dim as this. It's actually a little bit brighter, but this is something for those that really do like a really bright backlighting. Just keep that in mind, right? This isn't one that has that. It doesn't have shine through the keycaps either. So putting both together, right, the switch and the keycaps, you're going to get less backlighting. That's something that you should be aware of. Now, I want to go into the software before we do more of a review. So as you can see, the Mu 02 is about 140 USD. Now, it's not super expensive, but of course it's not like super budget either. I do think for the price though, you're getting an art piece, right? It's a walnut wood case. It's an MOA profile, so it is definitely a bit harder to get used to. Now they're providing two different switches with it, which is the piano switch and the Rosewood. So you have two different choices. I do love the Rosewood, of course, but something just to know is that like you are getting a really nice, pretty much almost like an art piece keyboard. Now, for the software, you're going to have to go into the Acco's website, of course, get in support, download the Acco Cloud driver, and this is their cloud driver. Now, it isn't the best in terms of changing the keys and doing more changes. So like if you want to change T to Y and then change those places, you don't really have an easy way to do that here. I do think that Acco really should maybe look into changing this a bit and updating their software. I think that would really help. Is, you know, just like Via, right? Via allows you to change all the keys and change the placements of it. I think Acco software really needs that kind of update and have that availability, just because if there's no Via support, I think a software should be able to almost pretty much be replicated like Via or do something more than Via. So you do get different layers and you get functions and you can see the function settings and stuff. But yeah, I just wish that they do put that effort in, and hopefully, you know, when they see this video, they'll consider adding this kind of options into their software. But as you can see, you do have choices for the function, and you can make a little bit of changes yourself. Now, you do have the light settings, so you can change like the preset or the custom, change the brightness, and work on whatever color you like. I think for the Mu02, the orange lighting, like a nice orange, works really well with the whole theme of the board with the wood and like the whole, all the like Asia theme together. It looks really, really nice in my opinion, but that is my opinion. You can change it however you'd like. Now, we're going to do, of course, the keyboard inspector, check out to see what polling rate you're getting. So it is supposed to be 1000 hertz, right? So you're getting 1000 hertz for this board. You could game with it, but I'm gonna be honest, using an MOA profile for gaming is really difficult. I've tried playing games on it, and it's hard because the way the keycaps is shaped, it does make it incredibly difficult to do. Now, going back to the Mu02 and my thoughts. Now, I think this is one that's hard to compare with, say, other 75% boards, which is why like I haven't done like complete sound tests or things, because this is something that I would say is for those that are looking for something even more than just your regular custom keyboard, right? This is a very special type of board. It's made out of wood, right? It has a very specific design to this pre-build. It's got a really nice theme, and it just sounds really great. I think this is something that, of course, if you're going to buy this board, you're going to really have to take care of it, because it is going to be wood, and wood over time will deteriorate. So you're going to have to make sure to really take care of this board, and especially if you want it to last a lot longer. Now, I think this is a board that's worth getting, though, if you are someone that likes collecting boards. So if you're someone that loves collecting keyboards and wants different types of stuff to be able to have, this is something that you should definitely look into. I love this board. I'm really glad that I do have one, right? I fell in love with the Mu01, and then the Mu02 is just something that I'd love having as well, just because it is my more favorite and more favored style, which is a 75%. And I gotta admit, it is a beautiful, beautiful board. Now, I want to also show you guys a little bit of a side-by-side comparison from the Rosewood and the piano switches, because the piano switches are another option for this board. Of course, you should check out my shorts, right? You're going to have to check out the shorts that I'll be posting in the future, where I will have the piano switches actually fully in this board and doing a full sound test with them, because it's going to sound different. So let's quickly do a side-by-side comparison. So you are going to get a very different sound profile with the Acco piano switches. The piano switches are a bit louder compared to the Rosewood. It does have a deep sound to it though, but compared to the Rosewoods, it's not going to be as deep sounding. Now, of course, check out the shorts where I'm going to be doing a video with the piano switches.
Now, let me know what you guys thought of the Mu02 in the comments below. Now, this is a beautiful board. I do wish that they kept this golden. I think the golden color from the Mu01 was a much nicer touch compared to this one. The silver is not bad, but just that gold touch has just made it look even just nicer. That's what I felt. In terms of the keyboard, I love this board. I like it because it's just the nice wood, you know. and it's a beautiful board. Like, I gotta admit, this is a beautiful board. Now, I do like the fact that the stabilizers have been fixed compared to before. The Mu 01, I actually had to replace all the stabilizers just because no matter how much lube I put into them, I didn't really work out. But this one, it actually sounds a lot better. One thing I do love, though, is the fact that it's just so creamy and deep sounding. I'm actually curious, like, what else Aqua will bring out. And I really love this board. Like, the wood is just so nice. And I love the fact that they gave you that little, wax to just make sure that you can keep the wood quality going. And the thing is like, it does sound a little bit hollow though, right? So compared to the Mu 01, this is going to sound a lot more hollow. There's actually a lot more empty space inside, which is why I did the modification to fill it in so that there wasn't any more. I think after doing that, definitely sounds a lot better. I love the rosewood switches though. These are my favorite switches. Just note though, if you don't lube them, they could get a little bit scratchy over time. So that's something to keep in mind. But I don't know, I might change out these switches. Actually, I might try putting in the piano switches in this and seeing how that goes. So, you know what, check out my shorts, right? I might do a short where I'll do the piano switches in this board to see how deep it can sound. So, thanks for watching, guys, and please check out the other videos I got, and I'll catch you guys next time.